following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show presented by Hoop Ball. My name is Adrian Benjamins and I'm joined by Neil Rochlani, and this episode is brought to you by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. You guys get some delicious coffee, taste the Kona difference. Head over to hawaiianisles.com. You can also find their amazing coffee on Amazon. Neil, how are you, man?
Hanging in there on to Wednesday. It's kind of a interesting night slate. I'm used to watching my fantasy team and seeing either have all my starting lineup going or having two guys going. And this week's been weird. I've had 3 guys one night, 4 guys, 5 guys. It's kind of, I love those. I know it's a little overwhelming. We have all those games, but it's kind of nice to have every guy going and you watch those numbers just keep twirling up. Anyway,
oh yeah,
it hasn't happened this week. So I'm doing okay. Good to be back on with you. Checking the news here. I don't see anything crazy. I saw LeBron might be back in a week or so. Some news about him getting back to practice. But nothing else that seems really major unless you see anything.
I got something that I thought was going to be major, but it ended up being minor and right straight out of your backyard, Neil. Wendell Carter Jr., there was a lot of buzz that he could possibly get shut down. There were some people saying it could be a 4 to 6 week thing. He's been dealing with some kind of a thumb injury. And there was some buzz, Neil, that it could be more serious than they were letting on and that he could see a long-term shutdown. But then later in the day, we heard minor. He's going to be day-to-day. He's fine. So, man, I was really worried for Wendell Carter Jr. A lot of people were saying, go run and grab Bobby Portis. Make sure Bobby Portis isn't available. But it was a false alarm, man. What do you think?
I was not on top of that at all. Interesting. I wonder if they do go into some mode where they start shutting down players, though. That's got me thinking on this team. They're certainly off to a terrible start and have no chance of making the playoffs. So they look terrible. I don't know if you've been watching them at all. They played the Lakers last night. They were taking shots that were contested threes that were just hitting the backboard, nothing else. that was part of their offensive set. It was crazy. Yeah, this team's a mess. I'm glad it was just a rumor though. This guy needs to play. I mean, he needs to develop, so hopefully he gets more time.
Yeah, even if they're going to tank, even if they're, they don't want to win games, they want to lose, get a high draft pick, that's fine. But let's still develop those kids that have so much potential, right? Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine. Let's make sure these guys are in. They can still lose games and turn it over to these youngsters and let them learn and improve and get better while still losing games so that they get high draft pick. I think that's the proper way to lose. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Even if they have other guys out there, they're still not winning games. So, I don't know. This coach already signed an extension for next year. This seems just as a fan, I'm not very excited. Anyway, well, that was interesting news. You have anything else you saw that was that's popped
you
up?
Will be excited, Neil,
yes.
If they land Zion.
I will be excited.
No, other than that, not much else. That's pretty much all I got. We got some pretty fun and exciting games on slate here. I think it could be your turn to lead us tonight.
I think it is my turn. All right. Start with Orlando, Detroit. Believe this game went to overtime. 120 to 115. Detroit gets the win. Let's see how the stats tallied up tonight. Start with on the Orlando side, Nick Vucevic, 24 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists on 11 of 22 shooting. He keeps just delivering 2 3-pointers and a steal. Aaron Gordon played 37 minutes, ultimately fouled out, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists on 5 of 11 shooting, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, and a steal. Jonathan Isaac, 33 minutes, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 of 7 shooting, 2 3-pointers, no defensive stats, unfortunately. DJ Augustine has a solid game here, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists on 6 of 12 shooting, and a 3-pointer. Evan Fournier plays 40 minutes, 18 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 of 15 shooting, 3 3-pointers, and a steal. Terrence Ross having a Terrence Ross-like night, 24 points on 18 of 14 shooting, including 6 3-pointers, 1 steal, 2 rebounds, and an assist. This guy, I don't know why I'm trying to roll out someone else. I should just stick with him. Isaiah Briscoe plays 17 minutes, doesn't do much. Same with Kem Birch. I guess the story here is just Terrence Ross keeps producing. He's someone that I've kind of avoided because, I've had and I've dropped. I had drop. I'm trying to time him, but it's so hard for me to do that. It's like he's 111 overall per game basis and 9 cat. He is 127 and 8 cat, but he's getting 2.3 3-pointers a game, and that's something I can use. Not a bad percentage of 43% from the field. So he's the one I guess we can perhaps is out there. And if you need 3-pointers, I think I would recommend picking him up. That's really about it. Jonathan Isaac continues not to show any signs of being relevant this year, unfortunately. And Mo Bamba was out, it looks like, tonight as well. He is still suffering with is it an ankle? Left foot injury.
Terrence Ross has been rolling 5 games in a row in double-digit scoring figures. 3 of those games, he eclipsed the 20-point mark, 24 points here tonight. He's seeing almost 30 minutes a game, even coming off the bench. Make sure this guy's owned, man, at least while he's hot. We don't know if he can do this all year long, but also, too, Neil, this Orlando Magic team is one of the teams that I'm watching really closely heading into the trade deadline. I foresee them making a move, man. I think they're out of the playoffs right now, so I think they could tank. I think they could move some of their veteran guys, and I don't know, man. So let's keep an eye on that situation. All right. Any closing thoughts? That's a good point. This roster could change a bit, and then guys who are kind of on the margins could step up, or they could get moved and then lose value. So definitely keep an eye on the news in the next few weeks for this team. But that's it. All right, I'm going to take a look over at the Detroit Pistons side. I'm going to start with Blake Griffin, who played fantastic here in this one. Had a very efficient night shooting the ball, was 11 of 18 for 30 points. He also had 2 blocks, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. He added a 3, was 7 of 10 from the line. Andre Drummond with a massive double-double here, 14 points to go along with 22 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 7 of 15 from the field. Reggie Bullock, Neil, this guy's kind of been on lately. He's starting to, I didn't believe it the first time. The second time, I was still like, I think this is like the 3rd or 4th game in a row here that he's put up a usable line. I think in deeper leagues, we might have to take a look at this guy. Also, 38 minutes tonight. Now, as you said, was an overtime game, so likely why a lot of these guys saw some big minutes tonight. But 13 points from him, 6 assists, 3 threes tonight, 5 of 12 from the field. Reggie Jackson had 13 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 threes, 5 of 12 from the field, 1 of 1 from the line. Brown got the start, but only saw 22 minutes for 8 points, 3 rebounds, and assists, 2 threes. Off the bench, man, they got some good production from Luke Kennard, who had 14 points, 2 assists, a steal, 4 rebounds, 1 3. Shot a nice 6 of 10 from the field, 1 of 1 from the line. Langston Galloway even having a good game. The Wings really playing well in this one. 13 points, an assist, a steal, 3 rebounds, 2 threes from him tonight. 4 of 9 from the field, a perfect 3 from the line. I don't really trust Galloway or Kennard. Even Reggie Bullock, who I mentioned, could be worth an add. Even him, it's like if you're really desperate for some help, he's a maybe for me. But he's starting to sway me. If he has another good game, I think it might be time to make a move on him. Neil, what do you think of the Pistons?
Yeah, Bullock continues to play all right, and I'm still watching him. Another, respectable line, and we'll see where it goes. I'm not ready to pick him up yet, but I am one of those guys who has desperate needs for a 3-point specialist, and he's a little bit higher than Terrence Ross, so maybe I'll pick him up instead. But Ross seems a little safer for now. Bullock has the potential. He's also only shooting 42% from the field, which kind of scares me. But
man.
Yep.
You know what?
No.
I just opened up his game log, Neil. Yeah. You won't believe his game log, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games in a row. He has not scored less than 13 points in the last 9 games in a row. He is seeing starter minutes in those 9 games. He's hitting that 30-minute mark, if not more. If you need threes, he's lighting it up from 3-point range, man. You know what? I'm even more on board now that I'm looking at his game log, Neil.
Yeah, no, his threes have been solid. He's gotten at least 2 in every game, some 5 3-point games. So yeah, it's been great. I just worry about that free field goal percentage coming. These high volume 3 guys, it's tough. It's tough to make them all unless you're Steph Curry. So. But yeah, he's on my watch list. I'll see if he hasn't been picked up anywhere, I don't think, in most of my leagues. I don't know if he's still out there in your league. So I think he's not going to go anywhere just yet. But certainly potential. All right, game 2. Marquee matchup here, Toronto at Boston. 117-108. Boston gets the win. Very close game. 9-point win, but it was very close down to the last minute. In case you didn't happen to see this game, start with the Toronto side tonight, led by Serge Ibaka, actually, 34 minutes, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 10 of 21 shooting, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. No blocks for Ibaka tonight or steals. Kawhi Leonard, though, headlined the night. I don't know why I missed this point. Sorry about that. 36 minutes, 33 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 10 of 19 shooting. 11 of 11 from the free throw line, 2 3-pointers, 4 steals. Very Kawhi-like performance. Kyle Lowry, 10, 6, and 7 on 3 of 10 shooting, 1 3-pointer, 1 steal, 1 block. Danny Green, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist on 6 of 15 shooting. 3 3-pointers and a block. Pascal Siakam, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists on 3 of 6 shooting, and a steal. Off the bench, Norman Powell gets 24 minutes, 11 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 5 of 9 shooting. And Monroe plays 11 minutes Monroe gets 15 minutes, Van Fleet, 18 minutes. Monroe actually did decently, 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 6 shooting. And that's about it. Great game to watch from a reality perspective. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, Adrian, or catch any of the end of it. But not much else to take away. Did you start Danny Green tonight? He did okay. The 3 3-pointers to 15 points. I mean, overall his field goal percentage was a little weak, but had some good stats otherwise. No change though for me on Toronto. It's this team is who they are. Okay, so
I'm glad you mentioned Danny Green. Neil, with Clint Capella going down, I am now forced to play Danny Green. I moved JJJ into that center slot. Now I've got an open forward slot. I have no choice but to move Danny Green in there. And hey, if he has nights like tonight the rest of the way, I will take this for sure. So, so far so good with Danny Green. But I'll be honest, I don't feel great about it, man. And then the one last thing to note, Raptors coming off a back-to-back here. I thought that I was expecting Kawhi Leonard to maybe sit on this one due to the back-to-back factor, but really happy to see him play and was fantastic as usual. And not too much else for me to add. You pretty much covered everything. Going to move over to the Celtics side, and a lot of nice lines from the Celtics, but I got to start with Kyrie Irving, who had a massive double-double, 27 points with 18 assists. Did have 7 turnovers tonight, but I'm not mad at him, man. 1 steal, 1 block, 5 boards, 3 threes, shot an efficient 11 of 19 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line, and nice to see him perform this well against a very good defensive Raptors team. So really nice performance from him. Al Horford, where's he been, man? This is outstanding. 24 points, 2 blocks and assists, 7 boards, 3 threes from Horford, 9 of 12 from the field, very efficient, 3 of 3 from the line. Great game from him. Marcus Smart got the start, and 5 points, 3 steals, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 3 in 31 minutes. Jason Tatum, this is a pretty good line from him. 16 points to go along with 10 boards, 2 assists, a block, 1 3, 6 of 16 from the fields, not that great. 3 of 3 from the line. Marcus Morris, I feel like he's kind of fallen off a little bit. You know, we saw a week ago he was playing really nice, but the last few games he's put up some low-end lines. Likely was in some foul trouble, too, in this one. Had 5 fouls in 25 minutes for 6 points and 8 boards, 1 3 on 2 of 9 shooting, 1 of 1 from the line. Gordon Hayward, nice production from him off of the bench. The low 20-minute mark kind of scares me, but did see some nice usage tonight with 13 shots, made 8 of them for 18 points, a steal, a block, 5 assists with 2 rebounds, 2 threes. Jaylen Brown with 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 3. We don't really trust Jaylen Brown in standard leagues. Terry Rozier, 19 minutes off the bench, had 5 points, an assist, and 3 rebounds. Baines had 9 points, 2 assists, 5 boards in 14 minutes. Not too much else to talk about here, Neil. What do you think of the Celtics?
Yeah, like you said, at the beginning of the season, there's just going to be different nights where different guys shine, and that's kind of the case tonight. Al Horford had his a great evening. He's still 50th overall on a per-game basis in ACAT League, so I kind of avoided him this year. And Tatum, 57th. So both those guys, I think, were drafted a bit higher. And then the other news, Marcus Morris has fallen down to 85th, but he's still worth starting if you got him. He was on a tear, like you mentioned, and that's kind of cooled off some, which is more natural. I think he'll fall back closer to the 90 to 100 range. And then Gordon Hayward, it's good to see him producing. Hopefully he'll get back at some point. If not this year, maybe in the next year, back to what we saw him back in Utah in terms of his ability on the court, and maybe his fantasy stats will translate. But right now he's just been a major disappointment fantasy-wise. But nice to see a good game out of him. So no changes as well from anything tonight. Let's go on to Brooklyn and Houston. Another overtime game. Brooklyn actually gets a win here, 145 to 142. I'll let you talk about Harden, and you can tell me how he's just going nuts. But on the Brooklyn side, we actually have some good lines here. A guy I know that is near and dear to your heart, Jared Allen, played 43 minutes, 20 points, 24 rebounds. Fantastic night from him. 10 of 19 from the field, 2 assists, and 3 blocks. So spectacular night from him. Let's go next to D'Angelo Russell, who's kind of quiet. 10 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists on 4 of 11 shooting, 2 3-pointers and a steal. Joe Harris, solid night from him. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists on 6 of 12 shooting, including 2 3-pointers. No defensive stats. Rodions Kurucs, 30 minutes, 14, 5, and 2, 7 of 12 shooting, and a steal. Travion Graham getting the start here as well. 32 minutes, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 7 of 9 shooting, 3 3-pointers off the bench. Damari Carroll goes for 35 minutes, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist on 6 of 13 shooting, 4 3-pointers. And Spencer Dinwiddie has the line of the night for this, or the second line of the night for this team. 33 points, 2 rebounds, 10 assists on 13 of 22 shooting, including 4 3-pointers. I guess my one question for you is this Travion Graham guy. What do you think of him? Is he now starting, and should we pick him up? I haven't done enough research. I'm a little clueless, but I don't know much of his history. I think it's just a one-game thing, so I'm not going to reach out and get him. I'd have to see him do it a couple more times. Other than that, it's good to see Dinwiddie have a great game. It's good to see Brooklyn. I think they're a pretty solid team to go down to Houston and win in overtime. So a nice win for them. But not much else I'm taking away. Rodions Karuk still on the outside looking in. Damari Carroll likewise, even though he had a great game tonight. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, 2 really tempting performances tonight from Brooklyn, from Graham, as you mentioned, and also Karuk's. But RHJ is first game back from him from injury. We're seeing limited minutes. They're bringing him along slowly. Look for him to ramp up his minutes, and I think he's going to cut into this guy. Also, they're still waiting for the return of Alan Crabb, who is going to also hurt Graham as well. So I'm not super excited about these guys, although they looked pretty good tonight. Yes, but and then Karis LeVert is still supposed to return, man. I'm hearing that they're really expecting him to make an impact upon his return. So let's not forget about LeVert. All right, gonna check out the Rockets. Gotta start with James Harden. Neil, great googly moogly, man. 58 points. 6 assists, 10 rebounds, 5. He took 19 3-pointers tonight and made 5 of them. But that is outrageous that this guy took 19 threes. I mean, it really kind of tells you about how different the NBA game is compared to how it was like 10 years ago. That was like unheard of. An entire team would maybe not even take 19 3-pointers, and he himself is taking 19. It's just outrageous. 16 of 34 from the field, 21 of 23 from the free throw line. Neil, that is outrageous. James Harden is on some kind of crazy historic tear right now. If you look at his game log, it will blind you, man. Those numbers are they're outrageous, dude. So if you have James Harden, you got to be dancing right now like crazy because he's just been amazing. Neil, this is a little interesting. PJ Tucker got moved to the center spot, and I heard a lot of buzz from people excited about the move, thinking that this could actually help him. And I was curious to see how he would perform, and he looked pretty good tonight. 20 points, 10 rebounds, and assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 3 threes on 7 of 12 from the field, 3-6 from the line. Look, Tucker has had some very underwhelming, disappointing games this year. Very hard to trust. But if you buy into the narrative that the move to the center spot could help him, maybe this guy's worth a pickup. And I don't know if this was like a one-game thing or he's going to start at center going forward, or if this was a matchup thing. I don't know. But let's keep an eye on that situation. What else went down? Austin Rivers, a guy that I have in a couple deep leagues, and I've got him locked in my lineup, and he's been okay, man. 13 points, a steal, a block, 6 assists with 5 rebounds. I love his helps me in the 3-point category. Had 3 of them tonight. Shooting wasn't so great, only 5 of 14 from the field, but I'll take his low-end line for somebody I just grabbed off the bench in some deeper leagues. Eric Gordon, he's back. This is really great to see. 21 minutes, so, they're likely still ramping him up, coming off an injury, but played well in limited minutes. 20 points on 6 of 11 shooting. He also had a steal, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 4 threes tonight. Definitely make sure that he is not sitting on your wire. I think he will definitely be worth owning with the Rockets. missing Chris Paul right now, Clint Capella right now. So make sure he's owned. Off the bench, they got some nice production from Gerald Green, who had 15 points in 41 big minutes, 5 threes from him, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks. Not too much else to talk about. I don't trust Nene. We definitely don't trust Marquise Chris. Neil, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the Houston Rockets?
Yeah, a few things I want to mention. First of all, James Harden is just amazing. I'll leave it at that. Secondly, PJ Tucker, this is the real curious one for me. Now playing, like you said, a lot of center, or at least he's going to try to play center at the 5 and see how he holds up there. Tonight, it delivered. Definitely, I'm going to go reach out and get him if I can in any leagues. I think he's worth a must-add right now. Third, Eric Gordon. If he wasn't shooting 38% from the field, I would grab him in a heartbeat for the 3-pointers. But I think he might be okay until they get Paul back for sure. But then once Paul comes back, a little nervous. The final thing is, I don't know if you heard this, but Daniel House is no longer on. I mean, he's down there G League now, and he's gonna be down there at least through March. He can't come back up for whatever the contract reason. So if you have him in a deeper league or we're thinking about somehow streaming him, he is no longer going to play on this team for a while. That's it.
All right.
Let's go on to Memphis, Milwaukee, 111-101. The Bucks continue to roll. Giannis, 22 minutes. That's all he had to play tonight. 27 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists on 10 of 14 shooting. 7 of 8 from the free throw line, a steal and 2 blocks. Chris Middleton, 27 minutes, 11, 6, and 5 on 4 of 8 shooting. And the steal, Brook Lopez, he's really helping this team. Box score's a little weak as usual, but does a lot more. 25 minutes, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist on 4 of 7 shooting, including a 3-pointer and 2 blocks. Brogdon, quiet night from him in 26 minutes, 9, 6, and 4 on 3 of 9 from the field. So not a great night there. 2 of 3 from the line, not great there. Did have a 3 and a block. Bledsoe, 16-2 rebounds, 4 assists on 5 of 13 shooting, including 3 steals, 2 3-pointers. This game was in control the whole time from Milwaukee, so a lot of these bench guys got more minutes. Sterling Brown, 28 minutes, went for 11, 7, and 4. It might be a deep league guy, had a steal and a block. DJ Wilson, 13, 2, and 2 on 5 of 9 shooting, including 3 3-pointers and 2 blocks. Ilyasova, 18 minutes. Grant Hill. George Hill, 15 minutes. And Thon McCurr, 9. Not much to see here. They really were in control of this game. A lot of starters didn't have to come close to 30 minutes. And it's a very well-coached ball club. A lot of guys can step right up and fill in pretty quickly. So they're just on cruise control right now. We'll see how they do in the playoffs in the East. But right now they are playing as well as anybody in that league. And tonight is one time when it's hard to be a Bucks owner because they get a big win and guys can rest. So that's the only downside of being on a really good team. But they look great. No fantasy changes from me. Any thoughts from you on the Milwaukee Bucks?
Not a lot of thoughts from me. You pretty much covered it all. And if anything, just want to reiterate that I feel like Bledsoe has really kind of turned the corner. We're seeing multiple good games from him. He's feeling pretty consistent and safe now. He went through a slump a few weeks ago where he was really playing bad. So I'm really happy that he's playing well. I'm a big fan of Bledsoe. And this team in general looks great, man. So I hope they can stay healthy and just keep rolling into the second half of the season. All right, I'm going to jump over the other side of this game. The Memphis Grizzlies, Marc Gasol, 14 points, 5 assists with 4 rebounds, 2 threes tonight, 5 of 13 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. A lot of ugly lines over here on the Memphis side. Mike Conley with 14 points, a steal, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 3, 5 of 14 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line. Garrett Temple doing what he does, which is not a lot in a start. 21 minutes for 2 points, 2 blocks, 2 assists, a rebound. JJJ, kind of a disappointing line from him as well. A lot of disappointing lines. 7 points, a block, 2 steals, 5 rebounds, 2 of 7 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line. Neil, This is what I've been waiting for, man. Justin Holiday cracked the starting lineup. This is what we've been waiting for. Kyle Anderson is out, is not going to be back for, I believe it's about a month. Justin Holiday got inserted to the starting lineup for the first time since getting traded to Memphis. Now, he only saw limited minutes tonight, as most of these starters, due to the blowout factor. But, man, keep an eye on him. Had a decent line in limited minutes. 5 points, but 4 steals, 1 block, 1 assist, 4 rebounds, 1 3. Was only 1 of 4 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. Keep an eye on this guy. He could have been dropped in quite a few leagues. I know a lot of people were kind of fed up with him once that trade went down. I think in deeper leagues, he could be worth an add. Caspi, beautiful game off the bench. Saw the extended run, 36 minutes, 17 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 3 on 7 of 13 shooting. JaMychal Green here. This is nice. Anytime he gets big minutes, he has games like this, man. Double-doubled, 14 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, a steal, 3 blocks. Love those defensive stats. He even gave you 2 threes tonight on 4 of 11 shooting, 4 of 6 from the line. Not too much else to talk about. As I mentioned, Kyle Anderson's out. Chandler Parsons is maybe going to have to retire. I don't know. And not too much else. What do you think of the Grizzlies, Neil?
Well, a couple things. One, I was one of those disgruntled Justin Holiday owners who dropped him. And I don't know. I love the defensive stats. I love he got the 1 3-pointer. I like to get 2 or 3 out of him, and I know he has a capability to do that. So perhaps I'll pick him back up. I don't think anyone's going to rush out after this game, but I'm still very concerned. The other thing I want to mention was, JaMychal Green got a lot of minutes because, one, it was a blowout, but also Jackson got in foul trouble. Had 4 fouls pretty early on, I believe. And then one guy I want to mention here is Javon Carter actually played 28 minutes. I don't know if you've been following him for deeper league, guys. I know he can do some defensive stats. Tonight, not a bad line, 8, 2, and 5. Are you at all interested in him?
You know, he's been off my radar, but I may have to take a look at him, man. I know, I play in quite a few deep dynasty leagues. I think he could be available in some of them. And, I don't know, man. This is an older veteran team with guys like Gasol and Conley. And if they decide to tank, or let's say they move Gasol, I mean, he's someone in a couple years from now that could be a viable fantasy option. So, maybe I got to put this guy on my radar, Neil.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. I think right now, like you said, though, he's getting minutes because it was a blowout and because their guys are hurt. So certainly not worth a look at anything less than 20-plus team leagues. I don't know, 18, 24 team leagues, something like that. Anyway, let's go on to the final game, or at least the final game that has concluded as of now. San Antonio, Dallas, 105-101. San Antonio with a nice road win here. They got Rudy Gay back, but I'm going to start with... Wow, no one really scored a lot of points. I'm actually going to start with Rudy Gay because he led the team for the starting lineup. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist on 6 of 11 shooting. 2 of 2 from the free throw line. No steals and a block. DeMar DeRozan, 14 minutes, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, 6 of 13 from the field. 2 of 2 from the free throw line. LaMarcus Aldridge, just 8 points tonight. 4 rebounds, 1 assist on 4 of 11 shooting. A steal and 3 blocks. Bryn Forbes, someone I track as well, had a decent line tonight. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on 5 of 9 shooting, 2 3-pointers. A quiet night from Derek White in 24 minutes. 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists on 2 of 4 from the field, 2 of 4 from the line. No 3-pointers and 2 steals. Bertrand's plays 25 minutes off the bench for 12 points, 4 rebounds. This bench really carried them tonight. Patty Mills saw 24 minutes, 14, 2, and 4 on 5 of 13 shooting, 2 steals. Bellinelli saw 24 minutes, 17 points. He had a nice line here, 3 3-pointers, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, and a steal. Jakob Poeltl even got some action, 20 minutes, 6.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals and a block. Pau Gasol back to the bench for some reason, 5 minutes. I guess it was a matchup issue against Dallas, although they have DeAndre Jordan out there. So, I was watching Pau Gasol. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't think that's ever going to come back again. But That's really the only person here that keeps me interested, along with Bryn Forbes. That they're both not there yet, but I'll continue to watch. Any thoughts from you on the Spurs?
Not too much for me to add. Derek White's been really hot lately, so I'll just kind of shake this game off, and I think he'll bounce back no problem. And you know what? Rudy Gay was available in a few leagues. He had been dropped from this recent injury, so double check that he's not sitting out there in your deeper leagues, guys. Looked pretty good tonight in just 22 minutes. I think that he's somebody they're going to rely on down the stretch if they are planning on making a playoff run. And where are they right now? Currently 6th seed. So, if they're right here in the second half of the season, I think they're going to be playing to win. And I think Rudy Gay will continue to be a major part of that rotation and that lineup. Not too much else for me to add. We kind of know who the guys are. I'm going to take a look over on the Dallas Mavericks side. Got to start with the Wonder Kid, Neil. Luka Doncic. 25 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, flirting with that triple-double, giving you some threes tonight, 3 threes, 10 of 21 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. He's been great, man, running away with that Rookie of the Year. I don't even think it's close right now. 11 points, 3 assists, and 8 rebounds for Barnes. 1 3 on 4 of 18 shooting, so that wasn't too great. The shooting's not so good, but Wesley Matthews having an okay game, 13 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 threes on 5 of 12 shooting. DeAndre Jordan, a little, actually very disappointing tonight, 9 points, 9 boards, 2 blocks and a steal, 3 of 4 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line. Neil, a guy you and I have been watching, Kleber, 7 points, a block, 4 steals, 1 assist, 2 rebounds. I'm going to continue to watch this guy, man. I'm curious in the second half of the season if he can kind of break out. A lot of rumors that they could move Dennis Smith Jr. or, move some of their veteran guys that could maybe open things up for some of these other guys. So let's see what happens. Off the bench, they got some nice production from Finney Smith, who had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 threes tonight. Powell had 9 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 3 in 21 minutes. Brunson, somebody I'm watching in deep leagues because Barea is out, was really hoping he can step up, but it's not really happening for him. 6 points, 3 assists in 20 minutes. Nowitzki, we don't trust this guy for fantasy anymore. A legend, but his time is unfortunately over. Neil, how do you feel about the Mavericks?
I like what you mentioned about Dennis Smith Jr. being on the trading block. The official word is he's out because of an illness, but I think there is some rumors that he's out because obviously he's on the trading block, as everyone knows, but they don't want to play him. He could be sitting for a while until he gets moved. I mean, it's become so public now. I don't know how they keep him and play him. So I think if you own him, I would just sit and wait and see where he goes. I think it's actually a good thing to hold on to him or trade for him if you can, because I think he'll go somewhere where a point guard is needed, and he'll get a lot more room to play there and could be pretty good in fantasy, at least in counting stats. And then so Maxi Kleber does perhaps stay in the starting role. We'll see if that continues. And if so, I think he has. I think he might have the stats to be okay. We'll see. Definitely just watch him for now. That's really it. Luka Doncic, like you said, no question, Rookie of the Year. Yeah. All right. Let's go to. Oh no, that's it. No other games are done. Adrian, there's still 3 more games going on, but I think our time has come to an end of our co-hosting podcast show.
All right, guys, I gotta get out of here. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Adrian Benjamins. Hit Neil up too. He's at Ball with Neil. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the show. And Neil will be back in 3 more games. I'm sorry, Neil. We'll be back for another exciting slate tomorrow night. I'll see you guys later.
3 more games to go over here. As they have all just concluded, let's start with Cleveland at Portland. Portland comes away with a pretty comfortable victory as expected, 129-112. Start off with the Cleveland side. Not much here from the starters. Start with Tristan Thompson, 21 minutes, 4 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist on 2 of 6 shooting. No steals, no blocks. Cedi Osman just played 16 minutes, 4 points, 1 rebound, 2 of 6 from the field. Very disappointing night from him. Rodney Hood scored pretty well, 7 of 15 shooting, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. No defensive stats. The starting unit had 1 defensive stat combined. We'll get to that player later. Alec Burks, 24 minutes, 7 points, 3 rebounds, no assists, 3 of 7. Tonight, 1 3-pointer. He had the 1 block. Colin Sexton did play 30 minutes. One of the starters that played 30 minutes and played the most minutes of the game. 11 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 5 of 11 shooting. No 3-pointers, no defensive stats for him. Off the bench, Blossom game, played 29 minutes, 8, 10, and 1. 4 of 8 shooting. Jordan Clarkson continues to be their highest volume shooter, 9 of 17 from the field, 22 points in 29 minutes. 0 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 of 2 from the foul line, 2 3-pointers. Zizic Ante, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Zizic, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 of 8 from the field, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, 2 blocks. He had their best fantasy line tonight. Cameron Payne played 21 minutes, Dellavedova 19. Cavaliers, first thing I should say is mental note, do not stream Alec Burks like I did tonight. Do not follow that. Do not go down that path with me. Secondly, this team is not looking good. We talked about Colin Sexton perhaps being a second half of the season player. He has really dropped off. Outside of top 200 in both 9 and 8 category leagues. Cedi Osman down to 193 on a per game basis in 8 category leagues. Rodney Hood 150. Jordan Clarkson 121. Larry Nance had climbed to 74th. He is still out for another 2 weeks. Kevin Love, we'll see if he comes back. Expected to be back February 5th. If somehow he has been dropped, I think he might be worth the stash. Although it'll have to be very per game. I think games cap limit. I don't know if he'll play many games, any back-to-back games or a lot of minutes. So could probably just use him to stream. If he's out there, go get him. I don't think there's anyone else here worth owning. I thought Colin Sexton would really be good second half of the season. It's just not panning out. Same with these other youngsters. So Cleveland, Tristan Thompson even has not even been great since he's been back. 118 overall on a per game basis. So there's really no one here worth owning. Probably find better options. And tonight, they're always a contender to get blown out and have their starters only play 20 minutes, which is obviously very frustrating from a fantasy perspective. Portland, on the other hand, has some options here. We'll start off with Damian Lillard, who scored 33 points. He had 2 rebounds, 6 assists on 11 of 19 shooting, 7 of 7 from the free throw line, 4 3-pointers. CJ McCollum, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 7 of 13 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line, 2 3-pointers. Neither one having a defensive stat. Nurkic goes for 10, 10, and 10 on 3 of 6 shooting, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, and 5 blocks. Nice night from him. Jake Layman played 26 minutes, scored 18 points on 8 of 11 shooting, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, and a block. Alfred Camino, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 6 of 7 from the field, 2 3-pointers. That's a solid fantasy stat line. Let's see. Evan Turner played 21 minutes off the bench. Myers Leonard, 20. Seth Curry, 18. Zach Howland's actually fouled out in 17 minutes. Stauskas gets 16. None of those guys really put up much fantasy value. We know it's Lillard. Nurkic is now and has been their second best player. He climbed up to 37th on a per game basis. It's what held him back in the past. It was his free throw percentage. This year it's 74.5%. So not really hurting you at all there, or just a tad bit, I should say. He is averaging double-double plus 1.4 blocks and 1.1 steals. Phenomenal season. McCollum has now fallen to 85th on a per game basis, and Aminu is 120th. So he may be the guy that's out there that could have value. Certainly he will help with rebounds. Threes, he's right at the break-even point at 1.3 a game. Free throw percentage has been solid for him this year, which is not normal, 83%. And he's shooting 43% from the field. Gets a steal, gets an assist. It's really just sort of the rebounds and the field goal percentage. I should say free throw percentage this year, although tonight it was the field goal percentage. All right, second game. I've got the Utah Jazz at the Los Angeles Clippers. Utah wins comfortably 129-109. Utah has really found their rhythm recently. Even without Ricky Rubio, Donovan Mitchell start with his stat line: 28 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists on 10 of 22 shooting, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Missed all his 3-pointers, but did have 3 steals and 5 turnovers. Gobert, another 20-20 night, 23 points, 22 rebounds, 1 assist, 7 of 10 from the field, 9 of 10 from the free throw line. That is phenomenal for him. A steal and 4 blocks. Joe Ingles, very quiet night. 6 points on 3 of 8 shooting, no rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals, no 3-pointers or blocks for him tonight. Derek Favors, sort of a half Gobert night, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 of 7 shooting. He struggled from the free throw line, 1 of 4. No steals or blocks. Royce O'Neal starting alongside Mitchell, 36 minutes, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist on 3 of 6 shooting, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. In the block, Jay Crowder puts up a solid line here in 29 minutes off the bench, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 15 shooting, 5 3-pointers, 2 steals, and a block. Kyle Korver, we had talked about him last game. He has the green light once he's out there. He took 5 3-pointers, made 4 of them tonight. Total 19 points on 5 of 8 overall shooting, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, no steals or blocks. Grayson Allen plays 15 minutes. And I think the one thing to take away from this is Ingles has not been... I thought Ingles would step up a little bit with Rubio out. He has been facilitating more. He's gotten 8 rebounds tonight, and he's been averaging more rebounds recently, but his game otherwise has not come around that much. Mitchell has also increased his assists up to 6 assists a game tonight. And that's really it. I guess Korver, between Korver and Crowder, although Crowder had a better night tonight, I think if you're looking for a 3-point stream, I think Korver is a safer option, or the Crowder will have more variability and maybe some bigger games on certain nights and some lesser-known games on other nights. I don't think Korver will do anything, though, outside of hit threes, while Crowder could get some defensive stats like tonight, 2 steals and a block. So if you need just threes, I think Korver's your guy. If you want threes and some other assists and want to roll the dice on someone, Crowder could work. Royce O'Neal, although he's starting and played 36 minutes, I don't think he'll have the stat set to, or the counting stats to be worth owning. So pass on him. On the LA Clippers side tonight, very quiet across their stat lines. We'll start with Tobias Harris, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists on 6 of 14 shooting, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals. Gallinari, he's really the one with the quiet line, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Just a bad night shooting, 3 of 14. 2 3-pointers, 1 of 2 from the line, no steals, no blocks, no turnovers. Gortat plays 15 minutes, 4 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists on 2 of 4 from the field, no blocks or steals. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 22 minutes, 8 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 4 of 8 from the field. 0 of 2 from 3-point land. 4 turnovers, no defensive stats. He was a negative 19 and plus minus. All their starters were pretty much around negative 20 tonight. Avery Bradley played 25 minutes, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist on 6 of 10 shooting, including 3 3-pointers. Off the bench, Lou Williams shined here. 23 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 11 of 18 from the field, and a steal. Montrezl Harrell, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 of 11 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 steals and a block. So solid night from him despite the lack of scoring. Beverly plays 25 minutes, does not score, gets 3 rebounds and 3 assists, 2 steals. Tyrone Wallace plays 13 minutes and puts up 6 points on 2 of 7 from the field. Not much to take away here. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, maybe 2019, 2020 fantasy asset, not a 2018, 2019 fantasy asset, unfortunately. Tobias Harris continues to put up solid value, 27th overall on a per game basis. Danilo Gallinari, 34. Harrell, 76. Williams, 84. Williams could conceivably get better. He is not doing much in defensive stats, which is hurting him. His steals he's down to 0.6 steals a game, which is hurting him. Rebounds are down to just 2.8. So maybe there's a little room for growth there. Harrell, I don't know if he can get a lot better. 16 and 7, basically. 16.7 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 1.4 blocks, 62.5% from the field and the free throw line. And the fact he doesn't shoot threes, those 2 categories kind of bring him down in 8 category leagues. Gallinari might slip up a bit. He's averaging 19 points this year and 6 rebounds, 2.5 assists. I think that could come down a bit. Harris seems to be pretty much set in, though, where he is and should be steady. No one worth picking up off the bench. Bradley as a starter is still 271st in 8 cat leagues, so you'd have to be in 4-team leagues to look at him. So maybe 20-team leagues. Not sure. Never done a league that deep. Anyway, I will move on to the last game of the evening, the marquee matchup here. The Pelicans go to Golden State, and you probably know where I was rooting on this one. Anthony Davis cannot get it done. They fall 147 to 140. Gets kicked in the groin by Steph Curry at the end. Any rate, 41 minutes for Davis, 30 points, 18 rebounds, 7 assists, 11 to 26 from the field, 1 3-pointer, 7 to 8 from the free throw line, a steal, 3 blocks, 2 turnovers. Another monster line from him. Their big 4 actually scored a ton of points tonight. And these 140 points, all of them got over 20 points. Let's go next to Drew Holiday, 25 points. Played 41 minutes as well. 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 8 of 19 from the field. Only 5 of 8 from the line, unfortunately. 4 3-pointers, though. A steal, a block. No turnovers tonight. That's a phenomenal line. Having no turnovers. Julius Randle, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists on 6 of 8 from the field, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. This guy has really turned up his free throw shooting, 73% on the year. It's phenomenal. 3 of 3 from three-point land as well. That's impressive. Unfortunately, doesn't do much in defensive categories and no blocks or steals tonight. Etuan Moore, he put up 17 points on 7 of 13 shooting. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, and a 3-pointer, no defensive stats. Alfred Payton, I'm not sure how much he helps this team, but he put up a decent stat line tonight, at least in the 12 assists, and 7 points, 5 rebounds to go along with that. 3 of 10 from the field, a 3-pointer, 2 steals, 4 turnovers, no blocks. Off the bench, Mirotic had a fantastic night. 29 minutes, 29 points on 9 of 14 shooting, including 6 3-pointers, 1 steal, 1 block, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. Last game, he was just a complete dud. Probably the worst performance I've ever seen from him from a stat line. And tonight he delivers what is one of his better stat lines of this season, and something that hopefully will be a harbinger of things to come from his game. That's really it. It's really funny. After that, no one played more than 5 minutes. So really their top 7 guys. I should mention Darius Miller played 32 minutes, but not really contributed much. Across the fantasy stats, let's go on to, let's look at this team. Alfred Payton at 116. I guess if you need assists, he can be helpful. And, he doesn't shoot that poorly. He shoots 49% on a pretty low volume from the field. So a lot of times point guards will hurt you in that category. If you're trying to hold on there, he might be one guy who's available to be picked up, 116th overall on per game basis, but will not do much else. Will not get 3-pointers, averaging less than 1. Steals at 1.2, blocks at 0.2, and then rebounds at 3.7. Free throw percentage at 71%. So has never been known for to be a great shooter, but this year has not been bad. He's been okay. Still only 13 games for him on the season, so it's a pretty low sample size. We'll see if that holds up, but it's been better for him this year. Mirotic obviously looks like he's back in form. Davis, Holiday, Randall, we know about them. Etuan Moore has now fallen down to 165 on a per game basis, and ACAT. And at one point I thought he might be worth a pickup, but has not worked out for him. On to the Golden State side. Start with Steph Curry. He can shoot tonight. 41 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 11 of 22, 9 3-pointers, 10 of 10 from the free throw line, and a steal. Kevin Durant. He can do a lot as well. 30 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 10 of 24 from the field, 5 of 5 from the free throw line, 5 3-pointers himself, 2 steals and a block. Draymond Green had a phenomenal night. In his way, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 14 assists on 6 of 9 shooting. He knocked down 4 3-pointers, had a steal and a block. Kevon Looney played 30 minutes, 7 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists on 3 of 6 shooting, including 2 steals and 2 blocks as well. Klay Thompson, 19, 7, and 3 on 7 of 17 shooting, 4 3-pointers and a steal. Iguodala puts up 13 minutes and 23 minutes, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 of 10 shooting. Went 2 of 4 from the line, had a 3-pointer, no defensive stats. Livingston played 16 minutes. McKinney looked pretty good out there in 15 minutes. That's essentially it. This team, we know Curry and Durant are still holding the 3 and 4 spot, 8 category leagues, and that is not surprising to me. Thompson, I did not mention Klay. I'm sorry. 36 minutes, 19.7 rebounds, 3 assists. Or maybe I did. 7 of 17 shooting, 4 3-pointers and a steal. He is climbed up to 39th on a per game basis. It looks like he has found his shot again. We'll see how the starting of DeMarcus Cousins affects these guys, if at all. Draymond Green is now up to 44th on a per game basis, so that is good to see. Taking him mostly, I think, in the second round, maybe third round. Thompson in the third or fourth, probably in the third round in most leagues. So they're not too far off. I guess Draymond's the one that's really fallen off. Maybe sell high after this game. I mean, I don't know how the Cousins effect is going to play out. My intuition says it hurts Draymond a little bit in rebounds. Maybe an assist because Cousins can facilitate as well. Not sure. It'll be interesting to see how much Cousins comes in and takes over the ball on this team versus other teams. At any rate, that is going to do it for tonight's box score breakdown. Thanks a lot for listening. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee. You can find them at hawaiianisles.com, I believe, or on amazon.com. Please hit me up on Twitter. My handle is @ballwithneil, BALLWITHNEIL. And we will talk to you tomorrow night.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.